So the article that I chose is titled Exploration of Classroom Seating Arrangement and Student Behavior in a Second Grade Classroom. So the abstract in the article states that the purpose of this study was to determine if a specific classroom seating arrangement can contribute to students being on or off task while completing independent work within the general education setting of an inclusive second grade class. So there were 3 classroom seating arrangements that were compared in a second grade classroom, and they were cluster seating, horseshoe seating, and row seating. And I actually had never heard of cluster seating before, so I looked it up, and it's basically when students are in groups or in pairs. So like the desks are in squares, and it might have like 2 people facing this way and then 2 people facing this way, so like the desks are in a square. But in the study, they observed specific off-task behaviors such as inappropriate talking, students out of their seats without permission, students not following directions, and students not starting independent work when told. So, after the study was conducted, the data revealed that during each seating arrangement, each of the off-task behaviors were displayed. However, when the desks were in rows, they did not see as much as of the behaviors displayed. So, the most frequent off-task behavior that they saw was inappropriate talking, which I feel like is really common for this grade. I mean, they're little, they're going to talk regardless. I feel like there's not a whole lot you can do about it, but I definitely can see where putting your desks in rows can help that. And then the most frequent, or the least frequent, was not following directions. So, I did like this article, but I thought that it was really interesting to see which seating arrangements worked best for this age, because I do want to teach young kids, but like I said, some of the behaviors that they observed, I just felt like were really common for this age, and there's not a whole lot you can do to prevent them talking in class. So the website that I chose is titled 7 Critical Areas for Arranging Your Special Education Classroom. This website is very short and simple, but I liked the first paragraph right off the bat. It says that no 2 classrooms look the same, no 2 teachers teach the same, and no 2 students have special needs that are the same. So basically, this quote is saying that every teacher is going to have their own classroom arrangement style, which I think is very true. Everybody's different. But I like how this website gives you some ideas, especially since I'll be new to this kind of stuff, and I might not really be sure what would be the best way to arrange my classroom. But I don't think there's really a perfect way that you can arrange your classroom. It's just whatever works best for your students, and just whatever helps with like any behaviors that you might have going on in your classroom. Like with the second grade classroom, I can't talk tonight. With the second grade classroom that I was talking about, where they had them in rows to keep them from talking as much and disrupting in class. So, some of the physical layouts that this website talks about is home base, which is basically a place for each student that they can claim as their own for independent work, so it has their name on it. There's group area, which is basically for whole group or small group instruction. A sensory area, which I really liked. It's basically a space dedicated to addressing student sensory needs, which is really important for students with disabilities. And a student schedule area, which is just a wall or a door or some kind of blank space where you can put up a visual schedule for your students to see, which is also really important, especially for students that have a hard time with change and they just really need to know what's going to happen that day, now what time, so they don't get anxious or act up in class. There's also a reading center and a writing center, which is self-explanatory. And finally, a teacher zone, which is just a space for the teacher for their desk. So this website isn't so much about desk arrangement as it is for the space of these different areas. But I really liked it. I thought that it was interesting. There was definitely some areas that were pointed out that I'd never really thought of before. So that is why I chose my website and my article.